Hello everyone, my name is Art Loft and I'm a 3D hobbyist. This is a piece I did recently in Nomad Sculpt. I titled it Cinderella Slipper. I think the first pass during the work in progress stage I entitled it Cold Case Files. It's a fit if you know the Cinderella story. Uh, didn't do a very good job of the foot anatomy first time around, so I decided to delve into proper foot anatomy. I'm not sure if this qualifies in the eyes of an expert, but it's pretty good, I think, in terms of accuracy. So I thought we would take a look at how to produce the glass. We won't be doing the foot because it's very complicated. There's so many pieces, you can only see the outside of it. I won't get into how I arrived at this one, but anyways, so we'll get started. We'll try and produce a glass slipper and then the cover and a base. So here we are back in the program. We're starting with a new sphere. I always delete the default sphere that shows up. It's a little bit boxy. This one I just get from here. And we'll turn on wire mesh. I find that this is a bit dense to work with, so we're gonna turn that down to 4. If I was doing maybe a head bust, I would bring that down to 3, but here I think we'll do 4. Okay, validate it. I have an image that we can work with, so we'll just bring it closer, bring our overlay up, and with our fingers we'll just bring it just outside of the glass slipper, and I'm going to long press the cube and that will lock that in. Turn off wireframe. Now there are a lot of ways to go about arriving at a shape from a primitive such as a sphere like this one. I'm going to cut away. So we'll start here and we'll get we'll try using lasso. Now here we have to bear in mind that we're taking away from it. Now this happened because I got symmetry on. So we're going to turn off symmetry, go back, turn off symmetry, and we still have our lasso. There we go. So, it's not great, but it's pretty good. Serves our purpose, I think. And very quickly, we have a basic shape. So let's go back to here, turn on, and you can see our resolution is really low. So we'll change that. Maybe before we do that, we'll do Use the smooth tool, bring the intensity way down. I don't want it having too much of an effect. Let's see if we can just get rid of some of these corners. Take it off of lock. Now look at that, eh? Yeah. So basically what we have here is a profile. And that's great, except it doesn't really help us. Could try using the gizmo tool and bring that in like that. And that gets us closer. And I think at this point we can definitely, the heel needs to come out. I better turn symmetry back on. And that didn't really work too well, so let's just see where our symmetry is at. Showing the line. So this is why it didn't work too well. Because ideally I should have, instead of working from the front, I should have worked from the side. So we're going to have to change that. And we'll go local. And we'll choose the Z. Yeah, so that works good. And let's bring out the heel again. That's better. So, I'm not an expert in women's shoes, obviously. But I do know basic shape of a sole. So we'll provide a little bit more room in the foot. Room in the heel. Bring that in. Seems a little narrow to me. A little pointy. So I think we got our basic shape, although I'm not real happy with this area here, but I think we'll bring this up as well. And let's see if I can center it there and use the profile again. I think this is a bit high. I don't want this digging into Cinderella's heel. Bring this down. I like a smoother transition as we go from the top to the bottom, and this is definitely too high. I think we should flatten this out. Now, I think I'm going to remesh at this point. I need a higher resolution, and when you use the trim tool, you can see what it does to the mesh. It's all over the map. But I think, too, this is needing some adjustment here. That might be a bit wide. And I think this could go in. And then this should have more of a taper, I think. All right, well, that gets us in there pretty close. So we'll choose Voxel. And as we scale this, you can see the size of the quads. You can see the size of the quads we have right here, right? So even 88 is a significant improvement. I don't really want a tight dent. So, I'm just going to stop at 67 and remesh. Take the smooth tool. See what I can do with that. All right. So we could fine tune this a little bit more now. Put more of a curve in here. Bring the width in here. All right. Now what I don't like about this is this flat area on the toe. I'm going to use my brush, low intensity, to build this up. Let's see here. The mesh is responding quite well because it's still quite a low topology. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back before I start manipulating the mesh here. I'll go back, let's see. And I'm going to make a copy of this. I think I'd also like to crisp up the edges. Let's see here. We'll try subdividing. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to go back to before I remeshed. There. Go back to there. That's pretty good there. And now this time, I'm going to voxel remesh, but I'm going to choose keep sharp edges. I'll just go up to 80. Remesh. Huh. Look at that. It's weird. Okay, well, let's move on. Turn off the mesh, and we'll smooth it out. Okay. Trim. There we have a nice flat foot area. And I wouldn't mind having a flat base up here. That's for the heel. And then I'm going to go back to multi-resolution, and just to show you what's happening, I'm going to subdivide, keeping the flat. Okay. And I'm going to use trim with the polygon tool. And we'll do something like this. I don't like the point here. I think maybe I'll just bring that out there like that. Because we want to keep the toe of the slipper. So look at that, I've lost my green dot again. For whatever reason. So bring this down like this. Snap it into place. I think I'm happy with that, actually. And look at that. Nice clean edge. Okay, well, that's looking pretty good. And I'm going to have to soften. I think I'm going to need some intensity there. Now this is where, when you're working in multi-resolution, you can go back. I guess I didn't have that step built in. Okay. So I'm just going to try to build this up a little bit. You can see what I'm after here. This is just the front of the toe area. And just like that. So RMS, see, it's not doing a very nice job because of this, the way these triangles and the geometry is. I just try to clean up the toe. and then we'll remesh. So this is a very informal tutorial. I'm actually just having my morning coffee, and my two dogs are sleeping beside me, and Walter, my Cavalier, well, Cavaliers have short snouts, and so they're known for snoring. I don't know if you can hear him snore or not. That would be the least of the problems that come with Cavaliers, but he is a great dog. Okay. I think that's good enough that we're just going to remesh that. So we'll voxel remesh, and we'll keep the sharp edges, and maybe we'll do 117 there. I see the topology is a lot nicer now. Can bring down the intensity like that. Now you might be thinking, well, okay, you've spent all this time producing this part, and but really we've done the bulk of the work. The rest of the sculpt is pretty quick. Just want to bring this in here. Okay, how can we do that? Sometimes you just need a soft touch. Okay, let's see what we can do. Snap it into place. Create like a little bit more of a flatter area here. And I don't know. Maybe taper this in. Okay, well, I'm going to move on. And if you want to, on your model, if you decide you want to try and duplicate this, you can spend a little more time. So, here we have our basic shape. Now we're going to go to our scene tab, and we're going to duplicate it. Choose our gizmo. I think also it'd be helpful to turn on outline. Okay, that's on already. So we are now going to, since we have the new shoe highlighted, we're going to we're going to scale this one down. And I want to try and make this uniform. Thicker sole here, which I don't mind, but maybe we can bring it forward. And I think I need to bring that in a bit. So we have a shoe inside a shoe. And kind of hoping this works out nicely. So we'll select both. And I want to keep the first one, so we'll hide the second one, which is the interior. And with both selected, we'll increase our resolution up to about 200 or so. Voxel remesh. And there we've got a nice shape. Snap. Now you notice, some of these lines here. See how jagged that is? Yeah. So what are we going to do about that? Well, we'll go here. We'll go back to our polygon tool. Start up here again. One there. And I like that. So we'll just set, yes. And I got a problem here because, as you can see, I don't have the geometry in this section, so I'm going to see if I can just drag it. I'm going to turn geometry on and low intensity. I don't want to have a big effect. I just want to slowly move this. We're kind of going up like this, and then you can bring it down, bring it in, eventually just close it. Okay. That's looking better. Maybe I can smooth it out a bit. Yeah, you gotta have a bit of patience with this stuff. All right. Okay, now I'm going to re-voxel this. And the reason why is because you can see here the triangulation where the cut is. Otherwise it's fine, right? But snap into place. I'd like to bring this down a little bit. Still. Okay. There you go. So now with proper quads, all roughly at the same size, that's what voxel remeshing does. It gives you quads of fairly uniform size, and we'll just do a once over. We don't want Cinderella cutting her skin. There we go. See what we can do here. And also, if you know, I hope you realize that when you're using the smooth tool, what you're doing is averaging out the geometry. You know, you got highs, you got lows, extremes, and so it's a beautiful tool to work with. So, okay, I'm going to stop fussing with this thing shortly. And then we're going to do some magic. Okay. What do you think? All right. Okay, let's bring this into alignment. something like that. And I'm going to use the tube tool, or am I? Let's see here. You know, the tube tool is great, but in working with a heel, you know, I want some precision. So I think a cylinder or a cone. Maybe try a cone. So we'll keep our snap option here. And that means that when I pull on the colored parts of the scale, it'll turn or snap at 90 degrees each time. So we want to turn it upside down. 90 gives us 180. We can scale it down to size. Now we want to bring this here like this. Something like that. I'll do that. Now, I guess a cone, what I like about a cone is you have 2 points of where you could change the radius at the top and the bottom, but with a, like with a cylinder, but with a cone you don't have that option. So I'm going to bring the point down, and the geometry is okay, so I'm going to validate that, make sure that we're in place here. Do that. Okay. Snap again into place. Snap. I always like to be square on. So now I'm going to trim with the rectangle tool. Come up here. And then we're going to use the, I think the lasso would be fine. Well, you know what? Yeah, the lasso's fast, so let's see if I can get that there. I just don't want to see this in the inside of the sole, so that's why I'm cutting it. Smooth. Solo. So by pressing the solo button, I can just work with my geometry there. You're not going to see any of this, but let's see here. There we go. Take solo off. Turn off the mesh and see what we got going on here. Use my just using the scale tool. And we'll turn off outline. And we'll turn off show line. And there is our shoe. Not bad. I'm just doing this video on the fly, so there's no work behind the scenes. So we will select both and simple merge. And at this point, we're going to go to the material shader and we're going to choose additive, and we can bring down the opacity to something like that. So now we have a semi-transparent glass, and I don't know if you can see here, but where the heel and the shoe meet, it's really irregular. I don't want to see that. So instead of a simple we're gonna join them. We're gonna, instead of simple merging them, we're gonna voxel remesh, and we're gonna come up to about approaching 300. And that did a nice job there. All right, now just to show you, in matte cap shading, this is what you look at. But if you go to PBR, we'll turn off the back image, darken things up, and color wise, let's see, I think she was bordering on pink. And then this is in PBR mode. When you start playing with roughness and the metal, you don't see this in matte cap mode. It warns you about that. So how about 0? Let's see what that looks like. See, some of that's okay. It's a bit like, I don't know, plasticky. So add a little bit of roughness. And we'll go with that. All right, snap in. Let's make a quick stand. Grab the lath tool, choose path. See the line that shows up roughly in the center? You can just create your dot however you want. We'll make these ones black. Gives us that nice straight line. Then we'll turn on spline to get this nice curvature. We'll go with, down here, yeah, I think that's fine. You can play with it, but, you know, something like that. Then we go, okay, give it a color. Make it a little more metallic. Snap down. Use our gizmo, center it. Okay. Snap into place. Next, I'm just going to enlarge that stand a bit. I want a little more room for the glass cover. Okay. Now we need to go back to our lathe tool. Choose path. It's still centered fairly well. Obviously, I don't need all these. And make all these white. Come on. Just tapping them. I find it's a bit like overly sensitive. And tap anywhere on the line to get what you want. I'm finding I'll get some height out of this. And go up here. Okay. How's the mesh? Not bad. Let's see how that works. Alright. Now go to our material shader. Choose additive. Bring down the opacity. Come over to material. And we're just going to go with white, 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 white. Full metal. Zero roughness. Okay. Now this is looking all right. And now the only thing left to do is add a light. So tap on the light. That gives us this 3-dot menu. Turn it to spot. And it's fairly centered. Bring the cone out. You know what? Maybe we'll just spotlight it. Bring the cone down. And then the color of light, we'll choose pink. Something like that. All right. And intensity. Let's bring up the intensity a bit. I don't know. Just you can see there, it's showing up on the glass. So we'll do that. You can see it a little better. We can bring down our intensity. We just want a little bit. And then we'll choose to clone it. Bring it over. Increase that. And this is for the glass now. Something like that. And we'll turn off our, so we don't have to look at the light icons. We'll turn this off. And we can choose our room. I think we'll go with that one, studio small. And finally, we'll get into our post-processing. Now, our exposure can be up maybe around there, 74 or so. And our post-processing, I don't think ambient occlusion works in this situation, but the bloom, you can see that you can get some glass glitter with the bloom. That's intensity, bring that right down. And contrast, let's see. Exposure, no. Color grading is something I like to play with. See, I can bring the exposure up or down. Grain, I think we'll just turn the grain off and have full sharpness. You see the curvature? I've chosen purple for my curvature. It's cool, but it doesn't really serve a very good purpose here, so we'll turn that off. All right. Now, snap that into place so we can see how the lighting is hitting. And I think we need to really bring down the bloom. We just want like a reflection. We don't want it to be blinding. And then I think we can bring the exposure up like that. And I think we definitely need another light. So yeah, we'll turn our lights back on. Snap. I might add a floor. Bring that out there. You can see how the light is reflecting off the floor. We can just play with the floor color. See, right now it's all metal. There we go. That's better. And now this light here, come on. Tap on the light to get these 3 dots. I think I'm just going to go with that. I just want some. And then I think we'll increase the cone size here. We'll bring this over here. It's too pink. Could try. I think overall it's a bit dark yet, so let's see if we can add another light. Just shine it right on the glass. And then, of course, the background is solid black, so I'm not sure about that. Yeah, okay. And we can bring that up. A lot of colors here. Turn off the lights. Snap. So this video right now, recording, is 51 minutes. Well, personally, I think if you can produce something like this in 51 minutes, I think that's awesome. Let's see here. You see this center glare? I'd like to get rid of that. Increase the saturation of the colors. I think this is largely a bloom problem. No, bloom is not affecting that. It might be just the way the lights are. So I love doing this. If you want to just play with this sort of thing, it's amazing some of the effects that you can come up with. We'll turn our lights back on because I'm not happy with I want to see if I can get rid of this center. See, it's not really changing it. So I'm not exactly sure. And I don't want to waste too much more time on this. You get the idea. We'll put it into rotate mode. And there's your glass slipper on display. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you've learned a few things. Sharpened some of your skills. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments section. And thank you for watching.